Good evening, everyone. My name is Someshwar. I welcome all of you on behalf of Art of Living organization to Yog Vaashishtha evening session. नमस्ते, मैं सोमेश्वर आप सभी का आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग संस्था की तरफ से योग वाशिष्ठ के सायंकाल के सत्र में स्वागत करता हूँ। रोज की तरह आज के सत्र की भी शुरुआत हम लोग 3 बार ओमकार का उच्चारण करेंगे। टुडे वी आर ऑन डे 107। आज हम लोग डे 107 पे पहुंच चुके हैं और आज हम लोग चुड़ालाख्यान की जो अपनी कथा है उसको हम लोग बरकरार रखते हुए आगे की ओर बढ़ेंगे। तो लेट्स ऑल क्लोज अवर आइज, आंखें बंद कर ले, सिट कंफर्टेबली, आराम से बैठ जाएं, रीढ़ की हड्डी सीधी कर ले, गर्दन सीधी, शोल्डर्स रिलैक्स्ड। Let us bring back our attention to our breath. Take a normal breath in and let go. Take a deep breath in and let go completely. Take a deep breathing for Omkar chanting. Let us awaken the divinity within. गुरु का आवाहन कर ले। पुनः पुनः गुरु वंदना कर ले। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Let us pray to the divinity, to the master. Whatever the words that come out of this mouth, whatever the actions that are happening, whatever the thoughts that hover onto mind, and the power of discrimination arise in our intellect, impression that might be getting created on the memory, and if still there is an iota of that let all that be inspired by the master alone. Pray like this. We, the people walking on the path of liberation, moksha, they have already experienced that liberation, that moksha. Then let this remaining life. And if we have to come back here again with a purpose, let all that be inspired by the master alone. Feeling the presence of the master within and outside, slowly and gradually, you may open your eyes. धीरे धीरे अपनी प्यारी सी आंखें खोल सकते हैं. Jai Gurudev. So let's continue with our today's session. Today we'll be continuing with the story of ShikhiDhvaj and the Chudala. So we know that ShikhiDhvaj walks, he also gets into the Vairagya, the dispassion, and now in the search of the quest of fulfilling that Ichcha, that desire, he happens to travel to the forest, and then that is where he started doing his tapashcharya, his penance. So here he just happens to go from his traveling outside his kingdom. That is where he does the prayer. He says that, "Hey Raja Lakshmi," and then all the that his kingdom, and then his all the relationship, all that leaving behind, all that he goes into the forest, and then he leans completely submerged into his tapasya. So now this Chudala also is there. So that particular night, this Chudala also just suddenly awakens. So she see what's going on, and then she discovered that this particular ShikhiDhvaj is not there in the palace. So she sees, oh, probably he has already left this kingdom. And then by sitting there with her subtle body, she goes out of the window, and then she starts traveling into the Akasha, into the space. Then she sees that, oh, this king is there, this king is going, is traveling. And then she goes, and then she hides herself into the clouds, and she is looking at the things, how the things are going on. And then she just wanting to go and meet him, but then she thinks, before doing any action, she is thinking what we are really supposed to do. Am I supposed to go there or not? And then she happens to close her eyes, and then she looks at the things, what are probabilities that might arise. And after contemplating on all the probabilities, she says that this is not the right time. Even if I go and meet him, same thing which I already told him, if I happen to tell him once again, he won't probably listen. He is in a completely different state of mind. Let him continue on his own. And thinking like this, she comes back into her palace. Then she, in the morning, and then she sleeps properly. She takes a deep sleep, deep rest. When she wakes up in the morning, she goes and addresses all the ministers and all the prajas and all the people of the kingdom that a king has gone with some purpose, with some vishesh, some one particular work that he has gone through. And that is how she takes over the entire ruling of the kingdom, and she continues to take care of it. Now, like this, many years passes by. Almost 18 years passes like this, that this ShikhiDhvaj continue to do all the tapacharya inside the forest, and Chudala continue to do her regular routine, and yet she continues to do her sadhana seva, all these practices. She continues to follow that also. So both the things she's taking care of. Like this, after these 18 years are passed, now she feels that now this is the proper time. Let me go and meet him. So that is where she goes and tries to meet him, but she says that if I directly go and meet him in the same rupa, like as his wife, probably again he may or may not listen to me. So she plays an yukti, she uses her buddhi, and that is where she goes and she meets him in the form of one Brahman Putra. So when she goes, she takes that form, that akara. So with the help of, she is now having all those siddhis. So she is able to get into any one of the form. So she gets into the form of a Brahman Putra, and then she goes. So she goes, and then when she appears in front of him, she is almost like in a walking state. Her legs are not touching the earth. So she is just almost. So that is where, if when you go to the book, all that his beautiful look, that handsome look, that has been explained in very detail, how he is wearing all the Rudrakshamala, how on his kapala, means on his forehead, is wearing the basma, and he is completely wearing an attire, looking like a Bilkul Siddha, the Muni, the Swami. So like that, he goes in front of him. So that is Chudala only, but it has taken the form of a Brahman Putra here. And then when he goes, and then when ShikhiDhvaj happens to see him, so before ShikhiDhvaj does thing, when this Chudala looks at the condition of the ShikhiDhvaj, he is completely, his entire skin is completely dried out. All his hairs are not combed from so many days. All that jatas and that is formed. He is like continuing to do all the tapasya, everything that he does, but probably he has not yet achieved that self-realization, that knowledge, and because of that, despite of doing all these things, he is into such a state. So she looks at him, that he is preparing himself, that if some atithi, guest, some comes, to offer them the flowers, he is making the garland ready to offer the flowers to the divinity. He is preparing for his puja, basically. So when she observes that, now she is this Chudala, this Brahman Putra, then happens to appear in front of her. The moment ShikhiDhvaja sees that there is some atithi, there is some guest that has come, and then he also wonders that, look at, this must be some Siddha Purush, some, because his feet are not touching on the ground. So he is like up, in the space itself, he is kind of traveling. So he offers all his prayers, he offers all the flower that to the thing, all the other atithya, that what one's supposed to do when the guest comes at home. He does all that, and then based on that, she asked, this ShikhiDhvaja asked him to sit. So once he sits down there, that point of time, then there a conversation that begins over there. So ShikhiDhvaja sees that, look at you, you have so much of a charm and all these things. Now you have arrived here. Can you please introduce, kindly introduce, how come you are here, who are you? So all these things he happened to ask the ShikhiDhvaja. Just one second, probably Soham needs a minute. Yeah, sorry about that. So he happens to like ask that, who are you? Why are you here? Kindly introduce yourself. And that is where the this Chudala happens to tell him the story. So this Chudala is like, she says that once upon a time, she tells him the story that once upon a time, there was this sage called Narada. And we all know Narada Muni, he's the son of Brahmadeva, Lord Brahma. And then once upon a time, when Narada was doing his tapasya in the Vindhya Parvata, there was one cave. He was doing his own penance and tapasya over there. And one fine day, he happens to come out of that. and on the river of Ganges, all these apsaras, no, this Rambha, then Tilottama, all these different um, apsaras, they're heavenly ladies. They are taking a bath over there. And then there is this very descriptive things that how they were looking so good, no, they were very beautiful, they were looking so good. So when all these things were happening, the Narada happens to lose his self-control, and the virya, that semen, comes out of his body. So then this is where the ShikhiDhvaja asked the Chudara, means the Brahman Putra, question that how come I have heard that Narada is a Brahmarshi, Narada is like is a Brahmachari, and then how come that all these things, how come he gets into the Kama Vasana, the lust, how come he gets into caught up into the lust? So this is where the Chudala, that Brahman Putra, explains the things into details, that what exactly happened and how does the things go so ahead. So he explains that it is purely because of the mind game, that whenever this Srishti is created, this universe is created, everything is associated with some swabhava. So some gundharma, some qualities, that, for example, there is some niyati that is associated with every of this. So if you see all the Pancha Mahabhuta, the fire has the quality to burn, the water has a quality to cool down, no? The air has a quality to flow. So everything on this planet, when it comes here, it always has some swabhava associated with it. No? So what is that swabhava? So she says that this Brahman Putra says that despite see this, all these things are there, despite of there is no such purpose in this, all these things, whenever all these siddhas, even the siddhas also, when they travel on this in the Tribhuvan and in all the three lokas, no, they go ahead and they just they reflect as if depending upon their swabhava. So this is applicable to both the people. Either they are enlightened or non-enlightened. They happen to go through these different emotions, kama, krodha, lobha, mada, moha, matsara, greed, entanglement, lust, anger, pride, and all these things. They go through it. But then the main difference that one can see in this is basically, it is just like a tide that comes on the ocean. All these things just come and then they subside. That is the main difference, that the one who is agyani, the one who is ignorant, they happen to get caught up in that activities, or that vasana, that lust. Lust means not just related to kam vasana, but any other type of kama, krodha, lobha, all these things, they happen to get into this outward tendencies of money and then caught up. And even the outcome of that sukha, that happiness, or that dukkha, that sorrow, the agyani, the one who is not yet realized, they get caught up into that, and then that chain reaction happens over there. But what happens with the jnani, what happens with the one who has realized, enlightened masters, they do get such things, that spuran, that thing arises, but then they are aware about it and immediately they can get over it. But before this prakriya, before this thing happen, before that only Narada gets into the various control. No? He happens to lose his control. So that's what happened. So then here this Chudala happens to explain him that, so when these things happen, then at that point of time, what the Narada does, he has something called as pot, which is like made up of spatik. Spatik means some diamond kind of thing, but that is in a shape of some pot over there. So he keeps that semen into that thing, and using the Sankalpa Shakti, he fills that entire pot, that is called as kumbh, that pot with the milk. So that is where it is said that due to this thing, this process, that is where it starts taking the form. No, we all see the concept of test tube babies and all that, how the baby And we have seen this is exactly what the Gandhari also does, no? This 100 Kauravas, when they get it, this is exactly the process that happens there also. So similar to this process happens, and then that virya that takes the form, no? And that is where this fetus, that kid, is formed there, and then he becomes into young youth. And by that time, Narada passes on the entire knowledge that he affords, that he beholds within, and then he passes on, teaches to his own son. So then he takes up his son, that he calls him with the name of a Kumbha, because he's born out of the pot Kumbha, so his name becomes the Kumbha. So he takes his son Kumbha to his father, that is Brahma. Then Brahma also interacts with him because he's the grandson. He even tested the way we interact, the way we, out of curiosity, how is he? So then he recites all the Vedas, and he demonstrates whatever he has learned. And the Brahmadev also becomes very, very happy. And after that, this Brahman Putra, he says, now he's explaining that he is the one sin. So he says that after that, then I anyway born without any reason as such, and there is no purpose also of my life. There is nothing. So I just continue to lead the life as it is, as it comes to me. So when I was traveling through this space today, then I happened to I saw you, and then I came down to meet you. So like that he explained, and because of that only, even if you look me here, as I come from the Devaloka, and when I come on this planet Earth, even my feet also doesn't touch. See, I'm just there in the space itself. Arya call on his mother's phone. So he says that, look at me, that I am, and my feet also doesn't touch the earth. So it is because of that. So now they know that who he is. He is telling the story, he's completed his story. So that is where now he asks the ShikhiDhvaja that, hey Raja, why are you here? How come you have come here? So here, that is where the ShikhiDhvaja expresses his gratitude, that he says, look at you, you are having such a miraculous power with you. You are that tej, that prakasha, that luminous radiance is, I can see. I am so fortunate to have you here. And then you are talking to me, you are speaking to me. You know everything, you are Atmajnani, you are Sarvajnani. So you know everything, but yet, as you have asked, just because of your order, he tells his story that I am such a such king, and then I have come here, and this is, he expresses that thing, what is it that he wants to achieve by doing all this penance and this tapacharya. Well, it is very expresses himself to the Brahman, this Brahmana. So that is where this Chudala also expresses that, look, whatever you are trying to achieve this here, the real thing is you really can get into, not by doing all these other things what you are doing. You are doing your upavasa, you are doing your dev puja, you are doing your tap, all these things. He is expressing, I have been doing all these things, avirat akhanda, but yet I get one to one dukkha, one sorrow, and from that dukkha to another dukkha, another sorrow. I'm really not getting that trupti, that samarana, that contentment, even for a minute, even for a second. Like that he stops there. So that is where, by listening to this Kumbha Vishatil Chudala, this Chudala, that is where she addresses the ShikhiDhvaja, what is the real knowledge here. So he says that earlier when I was listening to my grandfather Brahma, and that point of time he explained me about the knowledge and the kriya, the actions, and in that which one is the one which is the in exalted state. Anyway, when you are there on this planet and you are doing, you are bound to do some actions, right? But then which are those actions? That thing. When I happen to have a dialogue with him, I asked him which is this knowledge, which are that action that are shreya, means that is the one which are worth doing, which becomes the reason for your mukti. When I asked him, then that point of time Brahmadev told me these things. So then he said that at the end of the day it is the knowledge. So knowledge, that is the real thing which will make you the right things at the right time, in a right manner, in the right environment. What are the possibilities of right things that can happen? It will only happen because of the grace of the master and the knowledge. So knowledge will also be done because of the master that is in your life. So that is, so then he continued to explain that whatever the actions you do and the fruits of that action, this is just like in the heavenly, there are some fruits that you bear, and then you enjoy the fruits of that. It is just like a game. So this is just like Bhoga, just like a Manoranjan. This is like an entertainment that keeps happening. But unless and until that one gets into this mind and corrects the mind and its understanding about the things, till that point of time, one cannot really understand this knowledge also. Then whatever you do, all this kriya and all these things, they are really does not have any meaning to it. They become व्यर्थ. So then in these things, one is that in Shrutis also he explains about, give the references of the Shruti. There also it has been said that the one who really gets into the knowledge, they are the one, and then the activities that they do, that itself is the param sadhana. That is the real good thing, that is worth thing, that worth is doing. And then without any reason, without any karana, they will stay away from the durachar, means the bad things, bad deeds, and they will not allow you to, that knowledge will not allow you to get into these other actions which may not be fruitful to you. So that point of time, she explains, and this is that in this ajnana, in this vasana will be the one, these cravings and all the entanglements of going your mind outward will really stop you from getting there. So one has to really go and make themselves free from all these outward tendencies of the mind, and getting caught up into the vishayas, means the all the five senses and its outward going tendencies, and then re-establish themselves within himself. That is the antarmukhi. Once established then, and then start contemplating with themselves as, who am I? What is the purpose of my life? Why am I here? These self-inquiry about oneself, then we really lead one to the real knowledge. Other than that, there is a lot of knowledge, there is a lot of skills that people acquire. People are able to play music, they are able to play, they are so good in those many such skills. But unless and until there is this self-realization, unless and until there is self-knowledge, knowledge about your own self, then all other skills will be in vain. They come and then go, and many people acquire many such skills in multiple lifetimes. They have been doing like this n number of times. So like this, if you continue to do so, at the end of the day, what will happen? Either it will give you the shubha, means the good deeds will give you the punya karma, or ashubha, the bad deeds will give you the papa karma. That will happen, and again you will be bearing the fruit of that. So that vicious life cycle will continue to go in like this, and then the real sanskara, that real knowledge will never dawn you. So it will be just like a kid. That kid will be get caught up into the stories of the Vedana. There is story this. So they will just kalpanic, that in imagination, the way one does build on air castles, like that only, that thing, but they never see that Vedana, that ghost, that they never see that, but yet they will just in the kalpanic, in the imagination only, they'll keep on this. So like this, one will get caught up into the dukkha vasana, this sorrow, and then they will continue to lead like that. And this game of these vasanas, this lust, that will continue again and again, again and again. And because of that only we get caught up into the death and birth, that vicious life cycle of death and birth. And then again that same Vardhakya, old age, again the death, and again they gets into caught up into that. Again that mind is still there, and that mind still have not yet completed, fulfilled all the desires and craving, those vasanas have not yet gone. Again they will caught up into next birth, and then this will continue. So this vasana, the lust, the karma, the actions, then sukha and dukkha, this chakra, this vicious life cycle, one get caught up into, and that is where they will stuck. So parinata, this sadhaka who is understand the jnana, the knowledge itself is paramashreya. One really has to get into this. That is the only thing. You take a you go and surrender to that. You go and find out that, hey, then he says, hey tapasa, this kamandalu and all this, then that, and whatever he is carrying, all the instrument, other things, and etc. etc. In this, don't get entangled into all these outward things. No? Go and find out, who am I? What is the purpose of my? Why is all these things? How this, all the things which are continuously going, how they will become peace? No, that upasham. No, that is what is important. No? Why one is getting caught up into talking like an ignorant soul here? No, so this is where she again addresses here, Raja, this bandha, this bondage. Why this bondage has property? What is the moksha? What are the upaya? What is the solution for the freedom, the liberation, etc. question you start asking, then one get a solution. Through self-realization, one get a solution to go through this journey, this sansara sagara, and go through this and get into that chinmaya rup, that chidananda paramananda swarup, that only, and that is possible only through atma bodha, that is the self-realization. Other than that, if you do all these other things, they probably will not help. And then just like this frog that remains in the stones and he is spending his life, like that only you will spend this life, and this will become invalid. It will not help. So, hey Raja, so you, the one who have attained the samadrishti, the one who has attained that equanimous thing, those sadhus, those gurus, no, you go and question them, listen to them, be in their sangati, being in their vicinity, then and get into the knowledge. That you do this, get into the knowledge, and then all these things, tapasya, this bahirmukh, all the other activities, drop all these things. They may not help you. Go and find out a guru for you. Be in the vicinity of a master. And then whatever that master will guide you, you walk on that path, and then that upadesha, that vachans, that sayings of the master, you continue to walk on that path with full honor and respect in your heart for that. And then once you do this, then do not waste your time like an insect which is falling over there. Just like you completely get, just like that insect which is there, and then it is the way it upholds onto that particular thing, you also uphold. This is a rupak. So it says like that, you also have that nishchaya, and then get in touch with the master, and whatever the master says, you please be with it. Follow the walk on the path of the master. That is where our chapter number 75 concludes. Then in the next chapter, that is 76, Chudala tells him two stories. Now he is now kind of this ShikhiDhvaj accepts her as a guru, and then whatever she says, she requests her only, that Kumbha only, that Brahman Putra, that you only now guide me, kindly guide me. How do this? That is where she tells two more stories to ShikhiDhvaj. That stories we'll see tomorrow. For today, I'd like to hand over this session to all of you. You are welcome to share, you are welcome to ask any questions that you may have. You are welcome to share your takeaways from today's session. What is that you think, according to you, are your takeaways? You are welcome to share that with everyone. Over to you all. I'm opening the session now for unmute. If you have any questions, you are welcome to ask them. We can continue with the takeaways if there are no questions. Okay, if there are no sharings, then we'll conclude our today's session. आज का सत्र हम लोग यहीं पे समापन करते हैं। पुनः एक बार कल मिलने के लिए। जय गुरुदेव।